the 10-minute accurate CMA. What I basically have done, and the other one that I talked about, if you weren't on here before, was selling 100 homes a year. And everything that you're ever going to hear from me is based on the fact that when you sell 100 homes a year, you can't do things the way a lot of people do things. You can't take an hour and a half to do this really pretty uh, spiral bound market analysis on a house. You can't do 100 homes a year doing that. As pretty as that is and as nice as it is, it's not going to work. So I had to figure out how to streamline everything. Second thing that I will tell you guys where a lot of this stuff comes from is, don't get too caught up in, oh, well, that's how he does it there, we do it different. No, it's all these concepts can be adopted in any market. And in fact, I think pretty much everything and anything I've ever shared, and I've been sharing this with agents, thousands of agents, speaking at a lot of real estate events and all kinds of stuff, that when I go into a market, like I'm in Kansas City, I'll go to New York. And one of the things I'll talk about on showings, which that's going to be one that's coming up, but I would have people drive by the properties first. Oh, we can't have them just drive by properties first. We have to pick them up in a limo and drive them around to 30 properties in the day and make it an event. Well, no, you don't have to. If they feel like they've been picked up in a limo and their efficiency of their day feels like that, that's what you want to do. So coming back to this one, the 10-minute accurate CMA, I'm not going into a listing appointment saying, now, Mr. Miss Seller, I do this in 10 minutes. No, it looks like detailed information. And I mean, Jeff, you could probably attest that those reports look pretty detailed, what I was sharing on the webinar. So when you guys watch this, I'm really just going to casually go through it today, because now you can sit back and watch the video and get all the details and take your notes. But I want to kind of just run through it so you can stop me and ask me a question. And even I call it challenge me. If you're like, oh, that sounds cool, but we couldn't do it that way here. I mean, I want to hear that, because I want to hear how I would adapt or adopt or not adapt or adopt a different way of doing it if I were in that market. Because I honestly believe to this day, I could walk into any market anywhere and sell 100 homes within 12 months. I will have the market share, the systems in place, and what I do is not specific to Kansas City. And I'm going to say this one last thing, and then we'll jump into material. Now, is my screen showing yet? Is it on there? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we saw
that I was fortunate enough to be unfortunate enough to be in a market where I make about 25% of what you guys do, and I sell 75% more homes. And I know you guys are all over the place, and we probably have a mix of markets, but our price range has always been so low in Kansas City that, I mean, we're the best kept secret in the planet. You can buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2-car garage, fenced yard, about 1,800 to 2,200 square feet for under 100,000. Or around nowadays, maybe 150. I could find you plenty for around 150. They're not going to be glamorous, but they're not going to be roach infested either. They're going to be move-in ready. So we are still one of those markets that I don't make a ton of money on every house that I sell. So I was forced to come up with these systems to do it with less people. And the blessing in disguise is if I go to San Diego, oh my gosh, I am not changing anything. I might make $50,000 commission on a house. I'm not going to go hire 3 people to do all this stuff for me, because it doesn't take any time to do it anyway. I'm going to keep the whole $50,000 commission check and run my systems. So that's the part I wanted to get across, that when you're looking at this is the system that I use. I've used it for over 30 years, and my stats, if you compare my sales to the market average, just like going into MLS, and you look at my list to sale price ratio versus the market list to sale price ratio, it's really not saying a lot when 75% of the real estate agents haven't sold a house in 12 months. But the stats compared to the market, is that on over 3,000 sales that I've had in my career, selling about 100 homes a year for over 20 consecutive years, and I've got over 3,000 sales total, I'm averaging 98% of list to sale price. Now, that being said, we're talking about 12 different shifts in markets, when there was down markets where people were losing and there were up markets when people were winning. Just know that my 98% is over 30 years. So there's markets where the average person was selling things for 10 or 20% under market value. There hasn't been too many markets where things were selling for 10% over market value. So that, I mean, I'm probably in this market closer to the 100%, but overall, my overall stats are 98% list to sale price ratio, where a typical market might be 95 to 97 or 95 to 94 to 93%. And you guys might even, are you guys, I mean, maybe I'll open that up first. What are your markets like? What are you guys seeing on your pricing? Or when you hear about this 10-minute accurate market analysis, CMA, trying to get houses priced right, what is there anything you guys are experiencing in your market that is, this is the content you need today?
Anybody want to unmute? Anybody?
As I say, I think in my area, I'm in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area. Right now, our market, our sellers are fetching about 96% of what their list price is. So I think an accurate CMA is extremely important, because the homes are sitting on the market longer because they're priced right.
Yeah. What market are you in, Jennifer, again?
I'm in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area.
South Dakota. Okay. Yep. Probably pretty similar to ours. And the other factor that goes in there is how many price drops are happening, right? So there's probably a lot of price adjustment going on to even get to the 96%. Would that be fair to say?
Be very fair.
Yeah. So that's the other part, price drops and all that stuff. So before I jump into this, I am going to tell you that the shift in your mind thinking is, what I figured out is that in real estate school, first of all, they didn't teach us anything we needed to know in real estate school to be licensed, right? Not what you really need to know. They taught you how to pass the test. There was the word marketing does not come up in real estate school. There is no secret pricing formula that they gave us in real estate school that real estate professionals use to be accurate. They, in fact, I'm going to put it this way. They probably had a guest speaker. If you can remember back to when you went in real estate school, if you've been in for a while, they had a guest speaker, and it was an appraiser. And he came in and said, here are 3 similar properties that are like that property that average the price that this house is worth, right? Everybody's familiar with this, right? Guys, here's the thing. He had the answer to the equation before he found the 3 properties. And this is what I want you to always remember. Always, always remember. He had the answer to the equation, and he found 3 properties that averaged that price of the contract to justify to the bank, you should be safe to make this loan. I found 3 properties that average what this contract is, so you should be good to go. You should be good to let them sign on the line, give them the money, and if they default, you should be able to get your money back. All shoulds, right? But the reality is, there might have been 10 or 12 or 20 properties that the appraiser could have chose from, right? Let's take out the answer to the equation. If you have 10 or 20, now you have what real estate agents do. We are picking the 3 we think should be what the value is going to be. And we're bringing, this is old school real estate pricing. We're bringing the 3 as the professional to show them what we think their house will sell for. Now you got all these courses and classes on how to beat out your competition who's telling them a higher price than what their house is really worth, or what it's not worth, or what it's all this stuff, right? Because I can just use the 3 highest sales and show this seller while I'm sitting at their kitchen table, the 3 highest sales possible average the highest price. And they're going to believe that person because they are the real estate professional sitting at the table as well. You, being an honest realtor that didn't want to overprice it or have them miss buyers in the market and all the other stuff that you learn being around successful people, is that you used kind of the three that were most like that, somewhere in the middle. You didn't use the highest, you didn't use the lowest. And so you're kind of giving them a realistic value. And then you got the other people that are coming in and they're using the three lowest sales because they want to underprice it. And now they're even telling, and if you do this, it's fine. I mean, it's a good strategy if you know how to back it up. But they're telling them, if you underprice the property, you'll create an auction effect and you'll get more than what you were asking. All of that said, when I'm looking at everything, I'm looking at all 20 or 12 or 20 or however many it is. And there's a high and there's a low and there's an average. Now, what I know I can do pretty well, and what most of you probably could say you do really well, just by, even if you're new to real estate, you can walk into a house the minute you see it, looking at the condition, looking at it from when you pulled up, just your mental ability to absorb what you're seeing. You can pretty much tell if a house is below average, rough, rotted wood, overgrown trees, bushes, all that stuff. From the minute you walk up, you walk in, it's very dated, the brown Indian style tile and paneling and all that stuff, or holes in the walls, to an average house that you walk in and it's decent, a couple toys in the front yard. Maybe the bushes are a little out of whack. You walk in, they've got stuff sitting around, they live in the house, but it's got nice carpet, nice paint, nice whatever. And you could tell what's above average, where they've gone in and totally remodeled the kitchen or totally remodeled the whole house. You guys know what below average, average, and above average is. So what this method is, as I kind of walk through it, is keeping that in mind at all times. This is not finding a specific house that you're going to say that this house that you're at is going to sell for this, because market conditions changed, how many buyers are in the market changed, interest rate changed, that brought more buyers into the market or took buyers out of the market. All these things are changing. So when I look at this, I'm looking at what's for sale, I'm looking at what's pending, and I'm looking at what's sold, right? And each of those are going to have a high, an average, and a low. Now, is there anybody that would disagree that the actives, what's for sale, would you agree that those numbers, the high, the average, and the low, are higher than what the sale prices high, average, and low are? Give me a thumbs up if you're like, yes, the solds are usually lower than the actives, right? So when you move into this 10-minute accurate CMA, and I'll tell you, I mean, literally, it takes me 10 minutes to do it. It's going to take us probably 12 minutes to go through it. Just to walk through the process. But when I get the end product, I've got my high, average, and low. If I'm sitting in an average house, then I'm going to be in that range and showing similar properties. And you guys will be able to do this too naturally. Like, you'll know what neighborhoods are similar to the one that you're in, especially once you really start selling some real estate. For those of us that have been around for a while and even sold probably 20 homes in our career, you already kind of know what neighborhoods are what, and what are the upper end and what are the lower ends, starter ends, all that stuff. So when I am in a starter neighborhood, I know I'm going to be towards the lower end of the overall list. When I'm in the luxury neighborhood, the high end for my market, I'm going to be in the upper end of the all area list, right? And I basically pull up 3 lists, and we're going to go through those in a second. But when I look at the neighborhood and then I look at the area, I can tell whether I'm above average, average, or below average. So I can move my conversation around to the second I walk through the front door. From the minute I pull up to the minute I walk in, nothing's been predetermined, because they've told me things on the phone that make it sound awesome. But when I get in there, it might be more average, where they made it sound like it was above average. And here's the other thing I want to say before I get into the content, is that if I'm in an above average house, then what I know with the average, high, low, if you stay in this range of thinking, is here's the high. So unless we're in some crazy market where every sale is setting a new high price, that's my ceiling. And if I'm in an above average house in an above average neighborhood, I know I'm not going to be below the average line. So I'm going to be somewhere in the middle, maybe not, just take the top out and take the bottom out of that range. And I'm going to be in the middle of that range is going to be where the average upper end house is going to be. Everybody follow me so far? Is there anybody that has not thought this way before and you're just having a mind-blowing experience at the moment? Give me a thumbs up if you're like, holy crud, I never thought of it this way. And how many of you are like, duh, why wouldn't everybody think of it this way? Give me a thumbs up if you're one of those people. Okay, so everybody's unsure at the moment. They're like, I haven't heard this before. Or maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I don't know. This is just a way that I've done it on over 3,000 homes and average that I've got. And sometimes they sell for more than I thought. Sometimes they sell for less than I thought. I'll tell you, in this market right now, if I list 5 properties, one will sell at this price way above what it should have been set at, but it sells for whatever reason. 3 of them will sell for right where they're supposed to sell, right where I thought they would sell. And one that I thought would sell towards the top end of the market sells at the bottom end of the market. Just put that one under contract today. Today, I listed this house in September, listed it for $400,000. I knew it would probably sell for 380, but there was just no homes in the 380s. Everybody was pricing over 400. We've done our price drops and we are down around the 380 range, right? That's where I think it's going to sell. In fact, I just had the conversation with the seller and said, listen, I just need to know where you guys are. Here's your net sheet if you sold where it is. Let's just figure out a game plan from where we are today, because now this has been September. Here we are in February, right? So here we are today. Here's your net if we left the price where it is or we get within $5,000. Here's your net. What are you guys okay walking away with, right? Is that bottom number? Is that below what you're hoping? They're like, honestly, Brad, no, we're just listening to you for advice on what you can get in the market. And I've justified it on all my pricing stuff, right, with where the market is. And we've had over 25, 30 showings through the house. And they said we'd actually be okay if we got really 20,000 less than what you're showing us right now, just so you know. And I was like, no, that's great to know, because now I can make those adjustments and just start getting closer to that price and sell it faster. So they weren't as anxious to sell it earlier. Now it wasn't grossly overpriced. I'm just kind of giving you this example because I want you to remember this when we walk through the process that I go through. We were not overpriced because we have had constant showings from the day they hit the market. I've had over 120,000 views on Realtor.com. Over 2,000 people have shared this thing, and it's been shown 2 to 3 times a week, every week since the day we listed it. And it's because we kept making the market adjustments where we hit the market, people still came and looked at it. So I definitely didn't grossly overprice it. But now the market shifted a little bit and the buyers got a little pickier along the way, and other homes were coming on the market. So we were making adjustments based on that. What's interesting is there's 2 coming soon properties in this neighborhood who are both priced at $389 and $400, which is where I priced their house to start, because all of the active homes for sale are suggesting like this is still a good price. It's not high. It's not the highest price thing in the market. It's right in the middle of the market. They're both coming on at that. And mine's down to 369.9 or 364.9. We just changed it over the weekend. 364.9 from 400. And we just now got an offer for 350. Now, when I look at the solds, there's like 3 or 4 homes that have actually closed and sold that are even kind of remotely similar to theirs since we listed. So since September, 3 or 4 homes did end up selling right around 350. And only one of them got 400, and it was in a lake community. So we really didn't miss any buyers, which, by the way, what I'm sharing with you guys now, and I'm not delaying it, I'm trying to help you understand it so that you can absorb the content and really use this to your advantage. I do this same exact thing with my sellers if they've been on the market for a while. But I will change my data to, rather than looking at the last 6 months for a market analysis, which is what you would typically do, I'll just go back to our list date and I will pull up the neighborhood. I'll pull up their home in the MLS area and I will see everything that's currently on the market, anything that's pending, and anything that's sold since our list date. Not 6 months back, but since our list date. Because in that report, this is your bonus report, that report, I'm showing them that we haven't missed anybody while we were on the market. Does that make sense? Is everybody following me on this? I know it's a lot of math and a lot of numbers, but I'm only concerned about what has happened since I put that sign in their yard, and I want to make sure we didn't miss anybody. Very, very seldom, might have one house that was very similar to theirs that is under contract that we should have had. In fact, if I call that listing agent and I said, I just want you guys to understand how I process all this stuff. And I said, hey, who did you co-op with on that house? I'm just curious if they looked at my listing. And they'll tell me, because I have good relationships with all the real estate agents locally. And so they'll tell me, oh, so and so. And it's like, gosh dang, they showed my house the day before they wrote the offer on the one that they wrote. So now I can call that agent and go, hey, congratulations on finding that house. Thanks for showing my listing. Can you tell me what it was that like really tipped the scale for them? Can you guys understand, like right now, the amount of information that I'm bringing back to my seller when their house hasn't sold is just reiterating and reinforcing everything that you're pulling up when you do this type of reporting. And I say that because the one time when I did turn my position over and I leveraged myself and found my twin, he would literally tell people, he kind of went back to that out of our average high low. He drifted from the model and he would pick the three that were most like it. And he would tell them their house should sell for X. And the only time I knew he wasn't using the system is when I would call my sellers doing this market update and using the same thing I'm going to share with you right now, is that they would say, well, Jeremy said it would sell for X. You should never have those words leave your mouth. And I'll tell you, here's the script that I use, why you never want to use those words. And you could use this script yourself. And that is, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you have any agent that is telling you that the house will sell for X amount of dollars, and especially if that X amount of dollars is an awesome price, if anybody tells you that, I'm going to give you a blank contract to hand them, and you hand them a pen and you say, will you buy it for that right now? We'll just let you get it sold for that since you're confident it will sell, and we can just move on. Think about that for a second. So if anybody tells you a price that sounds amazing, if you want to know if they're telling you the truth or not, hand them a contract, hand them a pen, say, so you'd buy it for that right now, and we can move on. It kind of puts them in their place, doesn't it? It also allows me to say, so what I'm telling you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is that even with 3,000 sales in 34 years, you might not be able to use those statistics, but you can as a team. Oh, I thought I hit do not disturb. Let me get out of there. All right. What that means is I don't know what your house will sell for. And I can tell you honestly, with 3,000 sales is about 10 times more than most agents in the marketplace. I should be able to tell you what your house will sell for, but I'm not buying your house today. If I were looking for your house, if me and my wife were looking for your house today, I'll tell you exactly what it's worth because you'll get an offer from me. The good news is I, as real estate agents, we overpay. So you're probably going to get more from me than you will the rest of the market. Well, would anybody agree? Do you guys think we overpay for our properties when we buy them for ourselves? I do. I'm always like, oh, 5,000 more just to make sure I get it. I'm going to get it back in equity. That's just me. Anyway. All right. So I'm going to jump into the stuff. Any questions or anything that I've said that has spurred any conversation, questions, anything from anyone? And don't be afraid to ask any question. All right.
Anyone?
Just gonna ask if you could repeat that script again.
Yeah. So I'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's the thing on the pricing. We're about ready to go through the pricing on your house. And what I can tell you is with 34 years experience and 3,000 sales, I'm probably the one that should be able to tell you exactly what your house would sell for. Only I'm not buying your house today. The buyers out there in the marketplace will tell us what your house is worth. So if you're talking to anyone else, if you just happen to be talking to another realtor or interviewing another realtor, anybody ever gives you a price that sounds awesome and amazing and they say it should sell for that, just hand them a contract and a pen. And I like verbally, I physically hand them a contract and a pen and say, so you could just buy it for that right now and we can move on. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that was great. I just I listened to the whole thing, but I wanted
Yes.
to just get a better understanding.
Yep. And once you understand this, so like this method of pricing actually helped me come up with that script, right? Because it's just showing what the market's doing. So I'm going to walk through it. There's 3 reports that I pull up on pricing the property. Let me see where we are here. So I'm just going to run through, make sure I've covered everything. You want to focus on what homes have actually sold for. And that says focus, but that's not going to necessarily be your determining price of what you would list it for. What it is going to tell you is what they actually sold for. Your MLS is showing you the sold price. And for those of you who might not know or new to real estate, if it's pending or it's active, does not mean that that's what it's going to sell for. That's the asking price, and the pending price typically, tell me if your MLS is different where you are, but it's just showing the price it was listed at when it got the offer, not what they accepted. They could have accepted more, they could have accepted less. So the you want to focus on what is sold so we know what the actual sales are. And the way to put this one is that's where the appraiser is going to have to pluck his 3 solds from, okay, to determine the value. Now they can go outside of the area a little more or whatever, which I'm covering that in this report too, because I'm going to tell you the three reports that I pull up and how I base all my pricing on those 3 reports. And they're basically 1-line MLS printouts, right? But that sold will tell me what it's probably, what the current market or the last 6 months has sold for. Now, if everybody's priced up here and all the sales are down here, which you're going to see most of the time, then this area here is fair. It's no man's land. You can ask whatever you want in here. Like if the how do I want to say this? The lowest, the average sale price is here and the cheapest thing on the market is here. I can actually price right here and be the cheapest house on the market and probably get more than what they're selling for. That's kind of what I want you to get at. So the solds will definitely give us good meat, but it's not necessarily determining where I'm going to price it at. The goal is to look at what homes have gone under contract. So in most of your markets, the pendings and the backups and the contingents are the prices that got the offer, right? So when I look at solds and when I look at pendings, when we determine what the price is going to be, where am I in those 2 lists? And if I'm somewhere in the middle or towards the lower end of the pendings, then I'm probably going to sell this house pretty fast. If I'm the most expensive thing in the pendings and or there's no pendings in the price range that we're about to list it at, then I don't know what's going to happen. We might be doing some price drops or price adjustments because nobody's gotten any offers in there. Even though from the actives, I still might be towards the lower end of the list. Nobody has written any offers in the last 30 to 60 days. We know that for sure. And then where am I on the sale price? So again, in this market, we probably should be towards the higher end of the sale price because that's 6-month-old data. Is everybody following me so far? We good on math? So the goal is to look at the homes that have gone under contract to determine where we're going to actually get our offer. Hang on. Hey, can you calm the doggies down? All right. I think we have a countertop coming in here. So real world here. And then the average mode is that high, low, average. Okay. And you guys stop me anytime if you have questions. The first thing I do, this is how I do it in 10 minutes or less. It's just a process. Like, I am going to print all this stuff out that I'm about to tell you. I haven't even looked at any of it. I go to MLS, I've got an address, and I've got a CMA, a market analysis, a listing appointment. So the first thing I do is when I fill out this yellow sheet here and I get all their information, I've got my appointment, I've got their address, I've got all their information. First thing I do is I go in and search for the address on MLS. I want all the past MLS sheets that have ever been on there with the details of the properties, photos, all that other kind of stuff. Now, I'm not looking at anything or analyzing anything yet. I go to the tax records and I search their address and I pull it up, because it might not have been active on MLS in the last year or two. And depending on how long your MLS has been around, they may not be in there under past sales or anything. Tax record, our MLS has everybody's tax record. So I start with the tax record, and then there's like a tab in your MLS. In mine, there happens to be like an old list, a previous listing, the tax record, the history, the photos, the plat map that shows their lot. If it's in a floodplain, all these tabs are in my MLS. So once I find the property, I just print them all out. I want all the information that I can dig up on this property. And if you have other software, like I have DAC Lab that will pull up if they have a loan, more details about their house, any of that stuff, anything and everything about the property, that's what I print first. I can use that tax number to search my history and find out if it's been on before, what old pictures were on there. And again, no analyzation yet. I might pull it up and they just bought this for when I start to do the CMA, you'll start to form an opinion. They might have bought it for $50,000 2 years ago, and this neighborhood's selling for $250,000 now. So I know there wouldn't be anything on the market for $50,000. Doesn't mean anything. I just need to have the information there so I know, right? So I'd use that address search to see if it's ever been listed before. And I print out anything and everything about the property. The next 3 reports that I pull up, so that's information source. I just want to make sure I have everything on the property, the boundary lines, all this other stuff, so that when I'm talking to them, if anything doesn't match up, I can ask more questions. So if it pulls up as a 3-bedroom and they told me it was a 4-bedroom, I'm going to need to find out where that 4th bedroom is, right? Here's the best part. These 3 reports, if I thought it was a 3-bedroom and I get there and it's a 4-bedroom, I'll still be pretty close on my market analysis, and I can talk intelligently if I'm using my average high-low method of the one-line printouts. My one-line printouts are these: all activity in the neighborhood or subdivision over the past 6 months, if I can get by with 6 months. But because I'm using an average high-low, if the neighborhood has only turned over 3 properties in the last 6 months, understand that that's not a good average. Does everybody understand that? 3 is not going to give me a very good average. So I might go back 12 months and now I find 6 or 7. That's going to give me a way better average than 3. Now, here's where your old real estate brain and what you've been taught on the appraiser method of finding 3 comparables is going to mess with you. No, the appraisers don't go back much farther. But what I'm looking for is an average high-low. And in the average high-low, whether I go back 6 months or 12 months, because I'm in the average world, it's not going to be off. Does everybody follow me here? The average high-low, I can go back 2 years. If I'm in a really, really exclusive neighborhood, if I go back 2 years and finally get 5 sales in 2 years, that's going to be a good average. And it's going to have a high and it's going to have a low. And in most neighborhoods, 80, maybe 90% of them, you're not going to have a $10 million house with a $1 million house. And you guys tell me if your market's different, where the average neighborhoods, or you don't even have neighborhoods, have ranges all over the place. Because whenever I talk in averages, somebody will go, oh, yeah, Brad, our market's totally different. We don't have neighborhoods like that, and the prices are all over the place. Usually, if I dig on that a little deeper, 70% of the market is average neighborhoods. 20% or 30% that the agent really likes is this weird off thing. Does that make sense? So just like when somebody says the average person moves every 7 to 10 years, and somebody tries to tell me, well, our market, they stay in their houses more like 20 years. Okay, if you have 100,000 people in your community and you can show me that 80,000 of them move every 20 years, then I'll buy your average story. Problem is you're looking at one little click, an old retirement community or whatever it is that only moves every 20 years. So we're talking about the average for the area. The only thing that kind of trumps this a little bit is if it's like a lake community or whatever, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to know what the high is and I'm going to know what the low is and I'm going to know what the average is. Now, in my particular neighborhood right now, I live in a lake community. We got one house that's on the market for $10 million. Everything else is around 2 million or below. You might see a 3 million pop in there once in a while. You're going to see some 7s, 8s, and 600s popping in a while that are second or third tier. Well, actually, third tier is going to be more in the 400 to 600. So there is a pretty big range. But because, and again, I want you guys to understand this. If I really want to know what the average is, I take out the 10 million and I take out the 400,000, and now I've got something between 3 million and 600,000 or 700,000. Now my average is more accurate. When I do my statistic high-low page, which my MLS has that, if yours has where it takes all your data and it can give you a stat high-low, it'll show you what the list price was, what the sale price was, what the days on market was, what the average bedrooms were. Ours will set at a high, a low, and a median, and it gives me those statistics on one printout. I would think most MLSs have that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the neighborhood. Now, this is where I got to stop for a second because first time I'm sharing this with people. So do I need to put in like more than 2 baths or bedrooms or whatever? No, not me. I am looking at the neighborhood. I want to know what the average high low is for this neighborhood. I want to know what the highest thing that was sold and the lowest thing that sold. If I'm looking at a 2-bedroom house in that neighborhood and the average bedrooms are 4 bedrooms in that neighborhood, I just need to know that. Because when I'm looking at my list, the neighborhood shows this, but you're a 2-bedroom house, so you're going to not be at the average line at least. You know you're going to be between the low and the average line. So I know my 2-bedroom is going to be somewhere in here. That's where it allows me to adjust. So your brain has got to get rid of the details. You're not trying to find 3 specific properties. Average, high, low. Now, I will give you there, you could do a little sub report on each of these first reports. And sometimes if I get 20 homes that sold in that neighborhood, then in that neighborhood, I just hit my back arrow on MLS and I might put in the bedrooms. And let's just say in my market, there are some homes that are got 2-car garages and a good half of them or more have 3-car garages. A 2-car and a 3-car is a statistic that will definitely make the house sell for more. There is way more demand for a 3-car garage compared to a 2-car garage. If they were both priced the same, you're going to sell the 3-car garage most likely. If the garage is the only different factor and they're both the same price, the garage is going to make a difference. Now, if it's 4 bedrooms and one's in the basement and one's on the main floor, if they were the same price and they were against each other in the market, would that really sell for more because a basement's in the, a bedroom's in the basement versus the main floor or upstairs? I'm going to guess no. Okay, that's just me. I'll use another example. You got 2 houses, pretty much identical, awesome. One's got a 1.5 bath and one's got a 2 full bath, and they're both the same price. Is that full bath really going to sway 80-90% of the market to buy the 2-bath over the 1.5 bath. I'm going to say no. That it's just 3,000 sales. Whether it's a 1.5, 2.5 bath is not a deciding factor on a house. Would anybody have, I mean, this is where I like the feedback. Is there anybody that you've thought different, like that really does make a difference? Because I am going to say a 1-bath versus a 1.5 or 2 does make a difference. Would you guys agree? Same with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home and a 2-bedroom, multiple bath home probably would make a little bit of a difference, right? That 2-bedroom, 1-bath with no garage, and you got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and a garage is going to make a difference. The garage makes a difference. The bath can make a difference. So what you're looking at is when you do your report, if this first one with the neighborhood, literally just put in the neighborhood, or if you don't have neighborhoods in your market, like a 10 block, 12 block radius or 1 or 2 mile, whatever would be those similar homes. That part, you guys should know your market well enough for that, right? And not to get too tight because you need a good number. I mean, you're going to need 6 or more to really get a good average. So you got to expand your area a little bit to get 6, 7, 8, 10 sales. But if I had 20 sales in the neighborhood, now I can single out my 4-bedroom, 3-car garage and rerun the same report. I'm not doing bath yet. I'm going to do the bedrooms and the garage. Now, I'm not even doing floor plan yet. Okay, I'm not doing floor plan in the neighborhood because, again, floor plans do matter and some sell for less than other, but because I'm working in a high-low average and not a specific, I'm safe here. If 70% of the neighborhood is split level stairs and, you know, the all chopped up thing, and like 10% are these really nice ranch homes, then I know if I'm going to the ranch home, I'm going to be in the upper end of the market for the neighborhood. I don't have to single it out. You guys follow me on this? That's why I'm saying the average high-low works so amazing. Like how many times, I mean, Jeff, how many times have you been to a listing appointment, you got there and you're like, I pulled up the wrong data. This is not what they told me they had, you know, whatever. We've all done it, right? So, but if I got 20 homes, I might do that. And let's just say I put 4-bedroom and 3-car garage in, and all of a sudden I get it down to 6. And those 6 are all selling within $50,000 of each other. 6 pieces of activity in the last 6 months in the neighborhood just probably trumped 70 to 80% of the weight of my decision on discussing this with them on where they're going to be priced, because the neighborhood's going to hold a lot of weight. Second report, or that's all activity in the MLS. Oh yeah, the second report is all activity in that MLS area. And if you know your MLS area well enough, or you got one of these little tiny MLS areas, but you know the buyers are all searching around the 3 MLS areas around that, it's going to be where the buyer is most likely going to buy. So our MLS areas are pretty good size. They're 5 to 10 miles. Even though people might be looking in some other MLS areas, this is what I'm looking for the high-low average. And I'm going to get 20 sales and probably 2 actives and 5 pendings or something like that. So my average is going to be really, really good based on those statistics. There we go. Now I got her. So the second report is now I just hit the back arrow from the neighborhood. And I take out the subdivision. I put in the MLS area, which it probably was in there anyway. And again, actually be careful there. You might have a subdivision that's crisscrossing 2 different MLS areas. Make sure you didn't put MLS area in when you're doing this search if it's an overlapping area, okay? But now I'll go back and I'll just do the MLS area, and now I'll do bedrooms, garage, maybe not. It just depends on what the area is doing. But I will definitely, the factors I feel really affect a house now when I'm looking in the area is I want to know similar floor plan, bedrooms, and age range. Now, age range is a funny one because I want you, again, to understand the importance of the average high-low. And how we doing on time? Let's check here. I got to check. Oh, yeah, we'll wrap it up here just in time. So the age, if it's 20 years old, I'm going to look 10 to 30 years old so I can have an average. If it's a 4-bedroom, I'm going to look for 4 or more bedrooms, maybe, because we don't have very many 5-bedroom homes in our market. And they're usually like a den or an office or in the basement or something. So I might do 4 plus on that just to see in that MLS area how many I get.
Thank you.
Yep. Question? All right, might have just been unmuted. And then I may or may not throw the garage in there. So if I know if it's a 2-car garage, I'm definitely throwing 2-car garage in there when I know there's 3-car garages in the area. I can tell you this method of pricing, that third stall is the average price goes up by $35,000 for a third stall garage in my market. Insanely crazy because it cost them $5,000 when they were building the house to add the third stall. But I'm telling you that if I look at the average high-low and I do a 2-bedroom, see what it is, and a 3-bedroom and see what it is, I can see a significant $30,000 to $35,000 difference on that average on 10 properties that sold in each. So it's a good, fair average. So in the MLS area, I'm going to go to the floor plan and the bedrooms. Now, if I get 10 that have sold that are ranch homes, 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, 10 to 30 years old, and I get 10 of them, I don't need to know if I missed one other one that really was just like it, but it was 9 years old. I don't need to know about the other one that was a 3-car garage and everything else was identical because I have 10 with my average high-low. So I'm already safe on my average. All right. And then the last list that I put, let's see if I've got it on here, a list of similar bedroom age homes that are currently for sale. So now I'm going to hit the back
Đấy gì
arrow.
chùi về cho nó sạch.
Yeah, go ahead.
Đấy anh mở lên chùi được này hả?
Say that again.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brad. I think he was unmuted.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So the last one is I'm going to go back and take out the solds. I've actually been leaving the backup and pendings in here because those really do hold the most weight in our market right now. From everybody's asking way up here, the pending price, they're doing so many price adjustments that's giving me the price that actually is attracting the offers. And that number is actually still higher than the sales. So normally I would just go back to actives because now the first report, the neighborhood told me what the average price is. And I'm just going to keep this simple. We are in an average house in this neighborhood. So my average for the neighborhood is 400,000, right? Now, when I go to the MLS area and I put in bedrooms and all that stuff, the average for the area came up at 380 for their floor plan, their age range, their bedroom house. So I know that I am going to be between 380 and 400, right? Based on the average, and I'm in an average house. Now, when I pull up actives for the MLS area, and this one, you can even go a little wider. If your inventory is really tight and you've got 5 houses on the market in that MLS area, then you're going to pick up the other MLS areas around there to show them 10 or 20 homes that are on the market where the buyers would probably buy at, right? Because I want to know what my total picture of competition is based on the 380 to 400,000 that I'm about to suggest. Where does that put me on this third report list? And this is why I do the one-line printouts. Because when I do the one-line printouts, when I'm looking at the neighborhood, and if the average is 400 for the neighborhood, the average for the area is 380. Let's go back to that list and look. That puts you here on the list of what's for sale in the neighborhood. Or maybe there's nothing for sale, right? If there's nothing for sale, it's like, good news. You have 0 competition in the neighborhood. But if we go to the MLS area, there's 6 properties for sale. That 400 will probably be one of the cheapest things on the market because everybody's going to be 425 and up. And there'll be like some 500s and 600s and whatever. And 425 might be the cheapest thing on the market. So because I'm looking at solds and I'm looking at pendings and 400, 380 to 400 is the price range, and the cheapest thing on the market is 425, need to do a little more looking to see where we are on that list. So now when I pull up the third report, everything for sale, and by the way, everything for sale means now I'm taking out floor plan. I'm taking out floor plan a lot. You can add this back in as a sub report if you had like a ranch home and you wanted to show what your competition is for main level living homes, but it's a sub report. Buyers, when they go out, they'll look at anything in their price range with the amount of bedrooms. Those are probably the two first core criteria. And then they all get picky from there if they want a third stall or they want a finished basement or they want this or want that, whatever. My core is a 4-bedroom house. A 4-bedroom buyer needs a 4-bedroom house. So I want to know how many 4 bedrooms are on the market in the MLS area and surrounding area. What's for sale? All different floor plans. Age range, I might like kick it back down to 5 years to 40 years, or I'll expand the age range a little bit because again, some of those, what I didn't mention earlier, some are remodeled, some are not, some are in rough condition, whatever. That's why when you're high, average, high, low, and you're in a move-in ready house, you're in average. If you're in a totally remodeled home, you're above average, but not the highest. You're just in somewhere in the middle. And if it's totally trashed, I may not be the lowest, but I'm going to be somewhere in the middle between average and low because it's in rough shape. And it might even be, depending on how rough, lower towards the bottom of the list. But when I look at the active list of what's for sale, that might make you $150,000 less than the cheapest thing on the market, which means you're going to maybe get this person way more money than they should had they fixed it up. You guys follow me on this? So it's the neighborhood, it's the MLS area for similar floor plan, bedroom, and age range. And then what is for sale in a wider age range, take the floor plan out, and I'm just kind of looking bedrooms. Now I can do a sub report and add the 3rd car garage in there versus the 2-car garage just to show them that having that 3rd stall should get you a little bit more. But all of this said, if the price we are looking at puts us as the most expensive thing on the market and the most expensive pending active or pending contract that is currently showing, you're probably overpricing the house. So those 3 reports, let me just make sure there's not anything else in here. I do them as 1-line reports, and then I will print the stat high-low page behind it. So as I'm rolling through here, you guys heard me saying I put the neighborhood in. I print the 1-line report. I hit the stat page, I print it. I hit the back arrow, take something out, add the MLS area, print that page, print the stat high-low page, and I back arrow. And then I take out solds and I just go to actives and pendings and I take out floor plan and print that page and print the stat high-low page. That's how I just processed all of this. So it's all just sitting in my printer. I haven't even looked at any of it yet. So I got that all sitting in my printer. And now this is all these pictures here show you, and I'll cover this in the webinar when you watch it. But when you watch this stuff, this is the stuff of how I'm doing the search that I've explained to you guys earlier. So on this one, good news. No one's listed in the subdivision. You don't have any competition. In this one, I'm looking up backup, contingent, pending, and solds to determine the price in Blue Springs in the MLS area. So all this is everything that I just described to you guys on how I'm doing the searches. So I'm going to pause out there since we're actually towards the end of your guys' time, which all of this is in the recorded webinar that I did on all these reports. You're not missing anything by not seeing that.
When you're talking floor plans, are you talking like split foyer versus 2-story versus, is that what you're referring to when you're talking floor plan? Okay.
Yeah, awesome. So in our market, splits are a crazy one. Because we got side-to-side splits, we got front-to-back splits. In MLS, it actually has tri-level, and it's got all the. So if I'm going in the split entry where I walk in the front door and I have to go up or down half a flight of stairs, and then I've got like my living area up here, and I go down to the basement, the garage. That floor plan is the least desirable floor plan of all the split entries, right? The other ones with the side to side, front to back, all these other splits, California, tri-level, they're more open and spacious floor plans. So when I'm going to one of those, I will use all the split levels in my floor plan except the split entry. Because the split entry in my market would show a lower price than what they should be able to get for the more open. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's the same here in this market too.
Yeah. And raised ranches, you might have raised ranches where you got to go up a full flight of stairs to the main level and the garage is down in the basement. You got to come up a full flight.
Yeah. We call those a tuck under.
Okay, cool. Yep, the tuck under. So the tuck under, and I'm going to guess the tuck under and the split entry right at the front door, those two probably sell for about the same in your market. So I can use those if I have to. Like if I only got 2 raised ranches in a neighborhood, but there's 6 split entries that sold. And when I add in the split entry, I'm going to a tuck under, right? So I'm going to a tuck under, only 2 came up, but I see there's 4 or 5 split entries. And when I look at them all, the average price is all like varying by $20,000. I'm going to probably throw the split entries in with that. So there's some common sense stuff you do. Like I always run the report exactly like I run it. And I back the date back far enough to get at least enough to have a fair average. Okay. Then I will peel that down and get a little more detailed if I have to.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Jeff, did I cover everything that you remembered hearing in the webinar?
Yeah, I think Jeff just had to jump right at top of the hour. He had a webinar he was doing.
I kind of got caught up in all that.
That's all right. Good stuff, Brad. I appreciate you so much just coming on, especially in a pinch and moving from next week to this week. But it sounds like it might have worked out for you as well.
No, yeah, I'm glad to share this stuff with you guys because it has made my life super easy, and I'm never wrong. Because what's happening is they're starting to determine the price. So again, in that conversation, and we'll wrap it up here, is when they say, well, we don't want to give our house away. We were thinking 450 at least. Then I can go back to the active list and just say, okay, so at 450, it would put you here on the list. So there's 20 priced below you and 2 priced above you. That's all I said. I didn't say they were right. I didn't say they were wrong. So when you hit the market, you'll be here. What we really need to look at are these like next 5 and see if they're going to take your buyer away from you while you're at 450. I'm not saying you can't get 450. I'm saying you'll be the 3rd most expensive thing on the market, and the buyers are going to be looking at all of these. So we just need to make sure we can beat those out. I say that, but there is no way to beat them out, right? By $50,000 difference, they're going to pick the other house, even if it doesn't have their fancy little waterfall in the entrance, right? Mm-hmm. So for a $50,000 difference, I mean, they might give up the waterfall. So anyway, you get to have a different conversation with people. So I'm glad I got to hang out with you guys, and yeah, I'm glad it worked out to where I was back here and could be here for you guys today.